This is the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
5:06 on the KRMG Afternoon News. I am Skylar Cooper, and this is the BA Breakdown, where every Tuesday at this time we chat live with Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon, and today is no exception. Michael joins us live. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Skylar. How you doing, my friend? Hope your Tuesday's going well.
It's going well. It's going really well. I wanted to start this segment today with, it's not a question for you or anything happening in the city, just a bit of a shout out. Because over the weekend, there was a water line break on my street, and I'm not complaining in the slightest because these guys are awesome, but they were out there overnight. This is what it sounded like. Cutting into the street, into my neighbor's driveway, 2 houses down, because that water line, it was gushing. And they were out there. This started at about 12:30. They were there till 3 or so in the morning getting our water fixed. So I know that's probably not the best time. They probably don't want to get called at midnight, but sounds like they jump into action when it happens.
Well, let me recognize those folks. The workers from the utility department were Jason Roberts, Aaron Thompson, and Donnie Hilton. And you know I love to give shout outs to all the great city employees and recognize them for all their hard work. They actually spent, Skylar, about 6 hours repairing the hole in the pipe. It affected about 40 houses. And so this was a pretty major repair. And so they need to be recognized. And I'm sure that if they haven't heard, you give that, they will find out that they were recognized. And so I thank you very much. And I know they appreciate it, especially with how hot it's been. You know, they're ready to go 24/7. They understand this is a part of their responsibilities, and they do such an amazing job. So I will certainly pass that along.
Yeah, props to them for sure. Michael, we've got some questions from listeners today that we're going to get to, but first I wanted to ask you about this Safe Hotels Ordinance in BA, and I guess, as my understanding is, it just ranks the hotels in town on how safe they are. Am I on the right track there?
Well, actually, just kind of step back for a minute. Back in December of last year, the council did pass what we now know as a Safe Hotel Ordinance. Prior to that, the police department primarily and our tourism division were working with all of our hotels when necessary to help themselves to ensure that anyone that comes to our community to stay at one of our properties has a safe and enjoyable lodging experience. And there were some challenges. And so the council, at the recommendation of my office and the police department, did pass an ordinance that requires certain things to happen in order to get a permit.
Gotcha. Okay. So once I'm looking at the grading system, a numbering system here, 0.6, what does that mean?
Basically, in order to get a permit, there are certain things you have to do. And for example, you have to make sure you're paying your occupancy taxes. The hotel must pass all code enforcement inspections for the exterior of the property. The hotels also must get an annual fire department safety inspection. And they can't have an exorbitant number of high calls for police services because that is so draining on our department when we need to be focusing on other areas. And so as you complete each one of these tasks, you're given a score, and that score is you're working towards actually getting a permit. And so we have 14 properties here in town, and 5 have secured permits, and 9 are working on those. And we're going to continue to work with them until all 9 secure the necessary approvals to be able to issue that permit.
All right, we're talking live with Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon on the BA Breakdown for the KRMG Afternoon News. And Michael, we've got a bunch of listener questions today, so
okay,
let's go through some of those and keep you on your toes here, because I don't know if if you're familiar with these things. First, Jim in Broken Arrow is texting us, and he doesn't have he's just not too happy about it. He wanted me to ask you why the Life Ride program is being made mandatory, why everyone in town is going to have to pay that $5 a month for the ambulance service, whether or not you want it. It's always been an opt-in, opt-out program, but now it's going to be mandatory.
That is correct. A letter actually went out from my office just a couple of weeks ago, advising everyone that was not in the program that effective October 1st, they would be a part of the program. After discussing this with council, the decision was made is that supporting our fire service, specifically EMS, is extremely important. And so we just felt like that having everyone being able to opt in was an appropriate way to ensure that we continue to have adequate revenue to be able to support public safety.
So were there not enough people taking advantage of it to make it worthwhile or to be able to pay for it? Is that essentially what happened?
Well, we had about 42,000 customers, and about 12,000 or so had determined they were not opting in. And obviously, it really comes down to the dollars and cents. And so having everyone helping support public safety is extremely important to the mayor and councilman because it is our number one priority. And so if you look at what the expenses are for operating the EMS portion of the fire department, there's about a $4 million deficit. And so we're looking at every way that we can to try to ensure that we have enough revenue to continue to maintain a great service for everybody in our community and those that come into our community.
I want to keep getting through these questions here so we don't run out of time. From Kevin, who's actually in Tulsa, but I think he's just on the other side of the street from Broken Arrow. He wanted us to ask you about the, I guess it'd be 51st Street or Omaha in front of Country Lane Elementary, if my memory serves. That's east of Elm. He says the road is in bad shape, and according to him, neither city wants to fix it. I suspect you have a different answer.
Actually, that area, it's interesting. If you start from going east to County Line to Lynn Lane, that's a mile. That's the responsibility of Tulsa County. And then if you go from Lynn Lane to Elm Place, that's also Tulsa County. And then as you go further west from basically Lynn Dane to Aspen, from Elm Place to Aspen, that's the cities. And so those 2 miles, the one specifically he was referring to, is the responsibility of Tulsa County. I do know that they are working on trying to come up with the design and the funding for that mile, but that is something we monitor closely because we do get lots of complaints with it. And I do know that Tulsa County is working on the further mile to the east, and that I hope that they will be under construction sometime next year. But they're also trying to come up with a solution, mainly a funding solution for that mile that Kevin is referring to.
Okay, good deal. I wasn't. I didn't even consider Tulsa County. That's good answer there.
So I just want to say the city's not deflecting any responsibility.
Yeah.
If it was ours, we would have a plan for it. And I understand. We talk to Alex Mills, the Tulsa County engineer, on a regular basis, and I know